Welcome to your Magic Latest Podcast, a podcast where we discuss everything Orlando Magic basketball. I'm your host, Jalon Dixon, and today we're going to be talking about a couple of things related to the Orlando Magic building up towards the new year. But before we get started, remember to like, comment, and subscribe for daily Orlando Magic content. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers and trying to become one of the biggest Orlando Magic podcasts here on the YouTube platform. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I've tried recording this podcast at least 3 to 4 times, and I keep running into technical difficulties. So I'm going to make this one a pretty quick episode, but at the same time, I hope that I get my points across nonetheless. Number one, I want to see the Orlando Magic play with a little bit more fire and passion and a hustle defensively. The Orlando Magic, I feel like, defensively have taken one of the biggest dips we've seen within the last 2 weeks. Since the NBA Cup, this Orlando Magic team went from being one of the top 10 defenses in the NBA to drastically dropping to around the bottom 5 over the last 5 to 7 games. This Orlando Magic team, I think, is still more than capable of being a high-level defense with Anthony Black, with Desmond Bane, with Wendell Carter in the middle, with Noah Pinda covering more minutes, with Paulo Banchero back in the lineup. This team is more than capable of being a high-level defense. And I think that despite losing guys like Jalen Suggs, not having Mo Wagner, not having Franz Wagner, I'm not saying those aren't gut punches. They are very significant hits to an Orlando Magic team that definitely needs the talent. But at the same time, this is a team that's always been built off of defensive infrastructure under Jamal Mosley. This team, no matter what, even with being a bottom 4 offense, bottom 10 offense the last 4 to 5 years, they've been able to be a postseason caliber team because they've always finished as a top 5 defense in the NBA. That is not built off of talent. That's built off of grit. That's built off of hustle. That's built off of a culture that's been built around the idea of playing hard. And they've been able to do that at a really high level. And I appreciate certain players that have been able to show that. I think there's other players that have only been able to show it in spurts, a la Noah Pinda, a la Jet Howard, a la Jace Richardson. All guys that I think, because they are rookies, because they're in Jet Howard's case, he is a young player that is really in a prove-it year given his contract circumstances in terms of being a long-term mainstay player with the Orlando Magic. These are players that I think with more opportunity during this time frame should be allowed to really show off what they have, because they have a certain level of hunger, they have a certain level of hustle that some of these other players who are a little bit more established just don't. And there's no disrespect to those guys, but I think when you need that desperation injection, right? You need that injection of like a player who has nothing more to lose in a sense, right? They have everything to gain by playing hard and nothing more to lose in the prospects of it. I think that's something that the Orlando Magic could desperately use right now. One player who's been the embodiment of it throughout this entire time is Anthony Black. And the NBA media is starting to see Anthony Black more as the way I saw Anthony Black before the year started. I told you guys to kick off the season before the year even started. My X factor of the year was Anthony Black. I said nobody will be more important in terms of watching their improvement impact a basketball team than Anthony Black. And that's been more than accurate. Anthony Black has averaged over 25 points over the last 5 to 6 games. And although the Orlando Magic have not necessarily been super successful in those 6-game stretch, I think they're 3-3 over that time frame. He has been special. Coming off of a 30-point performance against the Denver Nuggets, he has been one of the most versatile wings in the NBA. And he has done it in every way humanly possible. Jalen Suggs starts out the year injured. You need Anthony Black to fill in at the point guard position next to Desmond Bane. Great. Desmond Bane needs to be the primary ball handler, bringing the ball up court. You decide to move Anthony Black to the 2 as an off guard. He can do that. Franz Wagner goes down with injury, and you need him to be that starting small forward. Bring Tristan da Silva off the bench, or put Tristan da Silva at the 4 in certain situations where maybe Paulo Banchero wasn't healthy. He can do that. Oh, Franz Wagner is healthy, but Paulo Banchero is out, and you need to bump Franz down to the 4, but you still need that starting small forward that fits well. Tristan da Silva or Anthony Black have been able to step up and fill within that 3-man spot next to Franz Wagner. Anthony Black has literally been able to do everything but play center this year. He has basically been able to come in and play every position except center this year. And it has really showed. He has improved offensively. Defensively, he has shown up. The 3 ball is not falling, and he could be a much better. The 3 ball is not falling as much as we would like, but it is improved. He's went from 31% last season to nearly 36% this year. All I ever asked for was for him to be a league average shooter, 36 to 37%. Anything above 37% would be considered elite. I would say average of 36% would put him at a different space, and it's shown this season. Would love to see the free throws land a little bit more. Only at around 60 something percent is not great. You would love to see that number go up. Nonetheless, Anthony Black has been the unsung hero of the Orlando Magic season so far, and I'm so glad to see that it feels like the national media is also starting to catch grip. I've heard his name in conjunction with two of the front runners in Jalen Duren for the Detroit Pistons and Deni Avdija for the Portland Trail Blazers, and that's exactly where his name should be, man. I think it's well deserved. Well deserved. Next up, the Magic head to Scotiabank Arena to face Scotty Barnes, who's coming off of a 20-20 game where he also had 10 assists. When I talked about Magic Hustle, I talked about Magic Hunger is because teams like the Toronto Raptors built off of being a heavy gang rebounding team. They attack the offensive glass and they move the ball around at a really high rate. They're one of the best teams in the NBA as far as assist rate is concerned. The Orlando Magic, this is one of those teams that will punch you in the mouth. This is one of those teams that will hit you. They have players like Jamal Shead at the point guard position. Very savvy, older rookie type. Just knows how to play well. Brandon Ingram, quiet, silent but deadly killer as a mid-range jump shooter. They have RJ Barrett back, who's slowly but surely working himself back into the lineup. Emmanuel Quickly's coming off a 20-point performance in that same game. No Jakob they bring in Mo Bamba. It'll be interesting to see how he factors in because they really do not have a true center on the roster. I think it also is a testament to Scotty Barnes that he has 20 plus rebounds in a game where they know they're going to desperately need to get the rebounding from somewhere else with Jakob back out of the lineup for like the second time extensively this season. The Orlando Magic have to be careful about winning the boards in games like these. It's going to be a very important matchup in the grand scheme of things because I would not be surprised. I'm telling you right now, with the way things that are shaking out for the Orlando Magic, I have a weird feeling that the Orlando Magic versus Toronto Raptors thing is going to become something that lingers around later on in the season. I would not be surprised. I think I said earlier in the season I wouldn't be surprised if the Orlando Magic end up facing like the Detroit Pistons or end up facing the Atlanta Hawks in round one. Right, and I actually, with the way the season is shaping out, I still would not be surprised if they end up facing the Atlanta Hawks, but I also would not be surprised if this team ends up running into the Toronto Raptors in the first round of the NBA playoffs. I genuinely would not be. I would not be surprised if the Orlando Magic are a 5 seed or a 4 seed and the Raptors are a 5 or a 6 seed. I would not be surprised by that. I would not be surprised by that at all. Yeah, man, I think that this Orlando Magic team is going to be interesting to see how they play. I still want to see them ramp up Paolo Banchero more, and I've seen strides of him moving forward, but I can't wait till this team gets healthy because I also think that's going to give Paolo Banchero the juice he needs to get back to being more aggressive offensively. You would have hoped that those guys being out would kind of put the battery in his back, but I think it's a little deeper than that because I feel like the injury is still lingering around where he's being a lot more cautious about picking his spots during a time frame where they actually need him to be as aggressive as he's ever been as far as being focused on scoring the basketball. Last but not least, we got to pick up where the NBA trade deadline wish list left off. We were on number 5. Number 6 is a player I've already discussed in the past. I'm not going to go too deep into him, but a guy that I think has lately picked up a ton of steam, especially with the Los Angeles Lakers, but also the Miami Heat are another team that has been in the conversations for him. The Dallas Mavericks have been in conversation for him. And shoot, I think if he's legitimately on the trade block the way it sounds like he is for the Sacramento Kings, I think the Orlando Magic should also consider it. You want to talk about hustle, you want to talk about hunger, you want to talk about defense, you want to talk about being able to fill in for Jalen Suggs when he's out injured, you want to talk about being able to come off the bench and guard 94 feet. That's everything and then some that Keon Ellis brings to the table. Keon Ellis is an affordable contract. You probably don't have to move a ton for him because his contract's so low. You do have to figure out how to go about re-signing him, but Mo Wagner comes off your books. That may be something that's an opportunity. If not that, Jet Howard, if you move him in the trade, along with knowing that Tyus Jones comes off the books at the end of the year, that's an opportunity to save some significant money. There's a real chance that you're going to save some money this upcoming season as well. Depending on where Paulo Beccaro lands as far as All NBA, I don't believe that counts for this season. I believe that counts for next season. It may be the other way around if it is applies to this year. Then it only further proves my point that actually the Orlando Magic would have some significant savings coming into next season, coming into the off season, excuse me, to potentially re-up on Keon Ellis. I think Keon Ellis would be a perfect fit for the Orlando Magic. I think he fits a lot of the things that the Magic want to do. He brings a three ball with him as a floor spacer at the guard position. Defensively, I feel like he can guard 1 through 3 efficiently and effectively. He can be a primary ball handler enough to initiate offense. He might not be a self-shot creator, but he's somebody who I think can be an extension of what Jalen Suggs is on the floor, and I think that's all that the Orlando Magic kind of need at that backup point guard position. You guys let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about Keon Ellis as a potential trade target for the Orlando Magic. With all that being said, this has been another edition of the Magic Latest Podcast. Again, remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification bell so you always know when we're dropping new videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.